Okay.
So today's subject is new school versus old school, and I really love this subject because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a mix of both. I'm new school and old school. I do both. Um, but I wanted to get with the panelists today and like discuss, you know, from a new school, what do they do in new school? What do they do in old school? Which works better for you, and which is helping you scale. What's up, Peggy? Um, so, Dennis, we'll start with you since you were on first. Um, what do you? And I know the answers, but they don't. So, talked about old school, new school. Which way do you lean, and which do you find is better for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of Pete was over at my house yesterday and we were watching the AI movie. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was kind of scary actually. Um, called like the AI teacher or something like that. It's on Netflix or Amazon. But you know, I think the new school agent has to utilize AI for sure. It's just going to help you in so many ways. It could be a little intimidating, but I think the agents that aren't using it may be left behind, or other agents that are using it will accelerate quicker than they are. I still like the old school way of doing open houses and just reaching out to people, pick up your phone, calling people. I mean, I think that's never going to go away. So it's kind of tough to tell. I really don't know how to define Mitch. New school agent from old school agent, right? We're not just talking age; we're talking techniques, right? So techniques, I would definitely lean on AI quite a bit. Um, the old lead generation, Mitch, that you taught me with the internet leads, I think that's tougher now than it was back then for sure. When we
No
first
question.
started doing that, it was much different space. So I think you always have to be looking at to see what's working. A lot of the new school stuff that I'm seeing is, big teams getting bigger kind of stuff, right? And just scaling faster. So that's kind of a trend that I'm seeing. But there's always going to be room for that person that actually does the work, picks up their phone, makes a connection, shakes hands, meets people. I mean, that's for me, that's old school, and I think that's always going to work. And with this whole AI thing, maybe that is the only one that's going to work down the future. Who knows?
Yeah,
Tough
but
to tell.
if you remember correctly, I remember this at least. The internet was going to change the entire world dramatically. People were going to lose all these jobs and all this stuff. I remember when I got into real estate in 2001. It was just internet was just hitting real estate in 2001, right? In fact, we had the first DOS MLS at that point. It just launched like 2 months before I started in real estate, and yet it still didn't take out the personal interaction that's so important to be successful,
Yep.
right?
hmm
So, are you using a combination? Are you using AI for business? Tell me about that.
Yeah, just starting to. Well, I've been using AI to write descriptions for listings. I mean, it's amazing how quick it could do that. Um, it could you put in some prompts for maybe 10 seconds of a new listing you have, and literally within 15, 20 seconds, it breaks out an incredible description that you could never do on your own. So, I mean, that's the most basic form. I mean, my sellers tell me it's like, wow, that's the best write I've ever seen. I'm like, thank you. Thanks, ChatGPT. I didn't do it. So, I don't let them know that necessarily,
Yeah.
but it does work. And that's AI in its most basic form, right? Um, and the other thing, guys, is I don't want people to get scared about AI taking our jobs, because it's not going to do that. I think it's going to take jobs of assistants, for certain assistants that people might have on their team, because it can do a lot of the stuff. Even that Claude AI, I don't know a whole lot about it, but that's more of a organizing like a personal assistant in the background. So I think you can get leaner and meaner with your team, and if you have assistants, things like that, I think they can be potentially replaced, for certain aspects of what they do, or making them far more efficient, right? So that's how AI can assist you. But I don't think the real estate agent's going to go anywhere. I don't see AI taking over, our jobs the way we open doors and have connections. So again, the old school is shaking hands, pick up the phone, calling people, having them trust you as a human being to guide them the right way. So that's not going away.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I love to watch posts because you'll see a post from one real estate person, and 100% it was an AI written post. Because if you're
Right.
going to use AI, in my opinion, at least, you have to edit it, or you look like every other post. And that's I think the negative of AI right now is that. And the other thing where I think you're right, Dennis, there's not going to be uh, at least for the next several years, we're not going to be replaced. I tell you what concerns me about replacing us is those robots are pretty incredible right now that are coming out. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the whole AI is a whole discussion, you know. I mean, like Pete and I were talking, you can't, you know, it's not going to replace every single job because then there's no world, right? So people
Unless you
need to
listen
make
to
money to
Elon
buy
Musk, it's
things.
going to, yeah. Elon Musk says in 10 years, it won't be, nobody will work. There'll be universal income for everybody and we'll just all live la la
Maybe
beautiful lives. Yeah, good luck with that.
we'll see. Who
And
knows?
here's the problem. Here's the problem with AI. So we're talking about a lot of people are switching now to AI voice telemarketers, and I've got a business partner who's building out one right now. It's really really good. Like it's come so far just in 6 months, but the only thing that I haven't seen with it is any personality. And I'm not
Right.
saying it's not. It's very bland. So for people like myself who built businesses built on my personality, because I'm such a funny bastard, is they can't do that yet. Yeah, but here's another. We're only 2 years into AI, so who knows what we've gone so much. Internet took about 10 years to really start becoming mainstream. AI is taking 2 years to be less than 2 years, a year to become mainstream in our business. So it's interesting to watch.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, good
yeah,
stuff.
it's definitely affecting stuff, you know, for sure. So don't watch that movie, by the way, if you don't want to get depressed. It was a little scary. The documentary. Pete, what
Yeah, I
was the
really
name of that
don't.
movie we watched?
Yeah, the AI doc, it's called. And it's very interesting because it shows you how quickly AI is progressing. And there's a new part of AI coming up called AGI. And it's going to be able to act and feel and function just like a human being. So, which is kind of odd. But, some of you guys can't stop progression. I'm a big believer that if you do the basics well, on a consistent basis, you're going to be successful. And all you can control is what you can control. You can't control everything else. So just be consistent with whatever you do. I mean, I like new school and I like old school. It's all about marketing, right? We're master marketers, master negotiators. That's really what we are. I mean, you don't want to get caught in the trap where you're just an agent. You have to be a master marketer, a master negotiator, a master brander. You have to be top of mind because your brain and the reticular activator in your brain can only remember two people. That's it. So you have to be one of those two. And if you're not, then that's a problem. So you have to look at where your gaps are and how people are viewing you. Whether that's social media, whether it's AEO, whether it's SEO. An AEO is artificial, or AOE, I should say. No, artificial engine optimization. That's going to be the new one that's coming, right? So you have to be ranked when somebody asks artificial intelligence, who's the best agent in this area, you have to come up. So that's really important. And anybody going to the Leaders Conference that we're having in Nashville next week, we have an AI expert coming in that I guarantee you is going to blow your mind. I mean, when you walk out of there, Billy Huff is going to he's going to have all types of things like Huff is enough. He'll have everything on AI. He'll probably duplicate himself 20 times. There'll be a lot of things going on. We can't duplicate Mitch yet. AI has not gotten that advanced. It's very difficult to duplicate Mitch. But it's a really interesting concept, you guys. But if you're in front of people consistently, a lot of us do mailers. Mailers work if you do it consistently. Calling 10 clients a day works if you do it consistently. So you don't need to complicate it. Everybody has a niche.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch because so many of the people out there are now freaking out about AI. And I just want to, I know it's not my turn to speak, but I'll go on to Craig in a second. When I was a lot of I used to own a dating service and then became the first online dating service when the internet became popular. And luckily, I'm a visionary type of person. But when I saw that come out, and that was really when the AOL was sending their discs out to the celebrities under 50. You probably remember that. People like Ross were only 27 years old. Don't remember that stuff. And when that came out, I instantly said, "Oh, how can I use this in my business? And then became the first online dating service because nobody had thought about that till literally it was a year or so before anybody else came on the market doing what we were doing. And so what my point of that is technology is always going to be changing, right? Every business is always going to be changing. The winners are going to be the ones that adapt, but I think you have to adapt with the human connection. And I think that's really the big thing. If you rely totally on I think at this point, I can't tell you 2 years from now, 5 years from now, but at this point, I think you'll still fall behind because the one-on-one connection is so important. Craig, what are you doing these days for old school, new school? Where do you fall, and what do you like?
I got a question. Is anybody in here over 37 years in the business? All right. I got one. I got Ron. All right. Everybody. The thing that's been consistent through the years of real estate is us. Somebody being involved in the transaction. Okay, so that's the number one key. 37 years, it's been consistent. The internet's come in, the multiple listings come in, realtor.com's come in, all this stuff's come in, but we've been the consistent thing that has been consistent through it. So old school, new school, it's just school. It's what's going on. I want to trigger on one thing that Pete said earlier. If you haven't taken Phil Stringer's class and bought his iBot for $297 or whatever it is, you're out of your mind. Go do it, get it, understand it, and then I think there's one more level. If you buy that, he gives you all the ideas, but if you buy that, you literally can go in and go through a class and it'll work you through the process of what you should be doing. I can tell you that we got 2 listings in the past 2 weeks, one for 600 and one for 800, that the people went into ChatGPT and asked. One was Gronk and one was just ChatGPT. We came up as number 1 and number 2 in both. The only reason we didn't come up with the other one is I don't know. I mean, it just threw up a bunch. It threw up 3 names, but undisputably, what we did is we did exactly what Phil Stringer said to do. I'm not going to get into that. Go watch it. It's doing all these questions, all these areas. It's about 500 pages of stuff that this bot helps you write, and then you load it and bury it on a back page within your website. And now all of a sudden this is out, and when the multiple list, or not when the chats go out and scrub the MLS looking for the information, all your information is there answered in that way. So that's number 1 as far as old school to new school, getting the data for the neighborhood and being an expert in it, but using AI to get it done. Number 2, if you don't have a VA or you're not having somebody else do your social media with AI, not just, you've got to critique it. Like Mitch said, if you're not using HeyGen, if you're not using, I think it's a level 11 or whatever it is, if you're not using all these things, you're going to be out of business. You might as well just pack your bags up now and go home. I'm being dead honest. If I can do this and I'm seeing what's going on, this is going to multiply faster and faster and faster. If you're afraid of doing videos, your HeyGen can do it. The reality is like the movies that Pete was talking about. Don't get scared. Don't get worried about, I got to hit a button. I got to keep doing it. Your generator will do it. The HeyGen generator, the V5 that just came out, is HD some crazy level. It is really, 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 really good, including your voice. So HeyGen and 11 up. Also, you should be doing everything as far as all your systems in your ChatGPT. Ask him it's your system of what every process you're doing, what can be eliminated to yourself, old school to new school. Make sure it allocates it to you and make sure you're doing them and you allocate everything else. The 3Ds, do it, delegate it, or ditch it. You can get a really good VA somewhere for anywhere between $6 and $8 an hour, Philippines, Brazil, whatever it might be. All right. Or you can go to one of these other companies. You're going to pay more money. I'm just giving you an idea of where it comes from. All right. So old school, I'm going because of 37 years. Handwritten notes still. And you guys say it. And every handwritten note of mine gets a scratch lottery ticket off. Because you know why? If they win, they're $1. If they win, they usually call to say they win. If not, they usually email me and text me, say, hey, thanks for the note, but I didn't. I'm back connecting with them again. Again, it's one of those things that keeps the conversation going. All right. So they're inexpensive. Go to the handwritten notes. Make sure you're following up on birthdays, anniversaries, making sure you're doing something different. You should have 12 mailers to your top people every month. Not real estate. Like we have Cinco de Mayo going out. We're going out the week before. The favorite margarita that Craig likes. Okay. And we have that on a QR code. So now we know who's checking the QR code. So then we can text them back. Hey, by the way. Stop. Also, another thing, if you haven't seen the show Giftology or the book Giftology by John Rohn, talks about random access stuff. It was amazing. I gave out so much stuff with my logos on it and nobody really wowed. I give out things randomly now. You can go through Gilded Gift and the hanging music box things, the JBL thing, $120. They can customize your box, but you can send a JBL to them. Somebody sends you a referral, client. Just do things not with your logo on the stuff, but it's on the wrapper. Just giving you some ideas of what the old school is, which is gift giving. New school is you want to create trust with them, what we're talking about. So those were some ideas I wanted to throw out real quick, but I really was jumping in fast because I wanted to make sure everybody heard about that Phil Stringer thing. Get out there and get that done.
Yeah, it's Phil's amazing, and as is Carrie, who's speaking in Nashville next week with us. And I'll talk to Carrie next week about bringing her on here and doing a class like we had Phil on a few months ago because they're different. What's cool about this stuff? It's an empty palette for you, right? It's an empty palette for you to create whatever you want to create. I've been creating businesses through AI. I wrote 2 books through AI so far that I haven't released yet. It's just everything I do, I run through AI. Some of you guys know I cured my diabetes and my high blood pressure using AI. Totally healthy now. Crazy. Russ, you're more of a new school with an old soul type of person. What are you doing these days?
Well, we're doing a lot, and what I really like to focus on is just kind of, you're talking about new schools versus old school, and there's nothing wrong with doing old school tactics, kind of like everyone's been saying. But if you're not doing the proper follow up and procedures along with it with today's technology, then you're kind of wasting your time because you won't be able to hit people fast enough. We're in a generation where people need instant gratification. And if we're at an open house and we're still like having people sign in and write it and going back to the office and trying to decipher their handwriting and then trying to get back to them, but we couldn't understand if it was a 7 or 1 in their phone number and we're playing around with it. Somebody else has already gotten in contact with them. They've already gone to a real estate portal. We're now irrelevant because we didn't contact them instantly. If we want to stay in front of people, we have to use today's technologies, but the old school ways of doing business still work wonderfully. I hear of a guy that does an open house every single day. And guess what? He sells like a lot of houses because he's skipping all of the why do you cold call? Why do you prospect? What is it for? It's to get face-to-face appointments. And he's fast forwarding through all of that and having that face-to-face appointment immediately. But what is he doing? He has YLOPO. He has a QR code. They go into his database immediately. Once they hit his database with that certain tag, they're on a action plan. And then he's able to follow up while he's still sitting in the open house. And then he gets a text message from them after his text message went out. And he's talking to them right after they left the house with no effort involved, except for now it's like, cool, well, I'm done at this open house at 3:00. How about we go get coffee and I can go to your house and tell you how much your house is worth? Like, we need to be implementing these strategies along with these free old school tactics to be able to really move the needle, in my opinion. So you don't have to abandon your favorite tactics. You just need to apply proper technology to see it all work out. So on our end, I know Jeannie's on the call. We're building stuff on AI every day. ClickFunnels, buyer guides, seller guides. We're giving out information, and as people, we put a little money behind it, and as people come in, we're able to contact them right away, give them valuable relationship. But no matter what, and this is what everybody's been saying, no matter what is opportunity? It's relationship plus information. And which one goes first? It's relationship. If you give information away without building relationship, it's just noise. So stop filling your potential client's head with noise by just being like a weak sauce email that they're going to get in their inbox. Like pick up the phone, call them. We just did a training about FU money. You guys know what FU money is? Follow up money. It's not the FU you thought it was. I'm wearing that dad joke out this week. Like if you're a team member on my team, I'm sorry you heard that one for like 30th time this week already. But get that FU money. Like you have to follow up. And the statistics are like one touch, you have a 2% chance to close them. 2 touches, you have a 3% chance to close them. At 3 touches, it really jumps. It goes to 5%. If you're not touching people 5 to 12 times, and I'd hate saying touch, if you're not having meaningful conversations for at least 5 times to 12 times, you won't be able to capture the client because 80% of transactions are done after the 5th meaningful conversation. So get in there, have those conversations. The relationship will never change, but the way you can get in front of people and the way that you can wow them with your follow-up or your offerings, that can win you the deal. So remember, relationship plus information equals opportunity. Don't just give away information. By the way, if you give information right away, Mitch, if I was to tell you, hey, Mitch, like your house is worth 113,000 right now, my value's blown, right? You know what you think I can do for you. Your guard's up. You disagree with me. Like I'm not working with Ross because he just totally gave me information that I thought was irrelevant. So we have to make sure we're getting to know people so we can make their why so big that they can't help but purchase, right? And if you guys listen to me enough, like that's what I say over and over and over again, because it's the most basic principle. But if we don't employ it, then any strategy we use will be useless. We'll be wasting our time. So that's all I got. But old school, new school, just use the tactic that works for you and then either ask someone or develop something on your AI. Just go in and tell AI what you're doing and it will tell you what you need to do. Like it's just like mind dump into that thing and it will spit out really good stuff. And then take that from Claude, go into Manus and say, hey, can you build this into a website for me? It'll build into a website. You can put it on your personal page. You can back it up with Facebook ads because Manus is owned by Meta. And then all of a sudden you can have phone numbers, emails, names popping up as people grab that information from you. It's a click funnel. And then it's a lead for like 10 cents. Do it. That's all I got.
It's great. It's great stuff. And Pete disappeared, so I'll talk for a few minutes. There he is. Pete, so what are you guys doing there? You guys still sell at a high level in 2 different countries now, or states? It's like different countries.
2 different states. It feels like 2 different countries, but I agree with Ross. I'm so happy he said the FU money on a Thursday. It gets me fired up. That's what FU stands for me. But here's the deal, you guys. The fortune is in the follow-up. Just remember that. The fortune is in the follow-up. If you want to make a fortune, be really good at following up and communicating. That's a basic skill. And, anytime I'm speaking anywhere, and I'm not saying this with any ego, a lot of people walk up to me and they say, how do you sell so much luxury real estate in 2 different states? And it's being consistent with my follow-up in communication. A lot of agents lack communication. You want to beat 99% of the agents out there? Answer your phone. Answer your phone. Even if it comes up spam. Practice on the spam guys, how to convert them, right? I make a game out of it. It's hilarious. I've talked to people in Islamabad. I've talked to people in the Philippines and Brazil, right? And I'm asking them about the weather and I throw them all off. I look at it as like a training session for a few minutes because you never know where it's going to lead. And a few people have called me and they said, you were the first realtor who actually picked up your phone. It's important, you guys. How many times have you followed up or FU'd another realtor and they haven't called you back or they don't give feedback? So if they're doing that to you, imagine what they're doing to their clients. That's a huge opportunity for you. So get really good at that. That's a basic skill to have. But as humans, we're so into our phones and we're so obscure to what's going on around us that typically we don't connect with people. This is a relationship business. You have to create relationships in order to do well. And it's basic human interaction. You know, how many real pertinent relationship type calls are you having a day? How many people are you connecting with? I call people every day, you guys. Anytime I'm in the car, I'm on a call. Anytime I'm not on a Zoom, I'm in a call. Anytime I'm not in an appointment, I'm on a call just to connect with people. And I don't say I'm following up. I just say I'm circling back or I'm following your directions. You asked me to do this, so I'm doing it. Where do you stand? What are you looking to do? When are we going to do that? Or are we just going to keep dreaming? Let's put the dream into action. You have to take those action steps. And everything you want in life is there if you take massive action. I guarantee it. If you show up every day early and you call everyone. So like Alicia specializes in short sales. If she calls 100 people and solves their problems, I guarantee you she's going to get 80 listings. And the other 20 people, she follows up with them the next month, she's going to get 20 listings because she's solving a problem for them that they don't know how to solve and they're scared. So when people are scared, fear takes over. They don't take action. They need somebody to hold their hand to get the action going. That's the key. Are you guiding people or are you telling people? You got to guide them. Let them come to their own conclusions by asking questions. But that's the key thing that I do, you guys. It's not fancy. It's not sexy, but it works. And people always say, hey, you remember my birthday every year. You remember my kids' birthdays every year. You know this, you know that, right? That's important. The little things go a long way, right? Here, I'll give you guys a great one. If somebody loses someone or somebody's kid is sick or somebody's having surgery or in the hospital, there's something that I do that I think is really effective. It's called a spoonful of comfort. So write that down. Spoonful of comfort. And it costs between 100 and 120 bucks. And they send this beautiful big box to the house with a note. And they send soup, homemade soup and rolls and cookies and a ladle, right? I think it's called a ladle, Diane. I don't know. Diane's shaking her head. She didn't fall asleep yet, so I know I'm doing pretty well. And so they send all that to the house with a really nice note. And you can have chicken soup, you can have tomato soup, and it's great, you guys. And every person I send it to immediately calls me. That's real human connection. It's not the words that you say, it's what the words say to them, right? Like I always say, it's not who goes to the wedding, it's who's invited. So you're not mailing or getting in front of people saying, hey, you have to sell your house. You're getting in front of people saying, I'm here when you need to sell your house. I'm here when you want to sell your house. I'm here to help you sell your house. I'm here to get you to the next step. So ask yourself this today. Look in the mirror and say, is my name Dennis D'Souza or is my name James Bond? Am I an agent out in the public or am I a secret agent driving an Aston Martin? Dennis, you don't have a white Aston Martin yet, do you? No, he only has 4 other white cars, you guys. He's big into white cars. They're always clean. They're always white. Anyways, so that's what I'm getting at. You guys can all do this. I believe in all of you that you can do it if you just take massive action and you have the mindset and the belief system that you can do it. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about what anybody else is saying. Create your own reality, create your own market. CYOE. Write that down. CYOE. That stands for create your own economy. Don't depend on the government. Don't depend on your friends. Don't depend on the city government. Don't depend on the local government. Don't depend on anything else. Create your own economy. The rest of it's just noise. That's it. That's my 2 cents. Go, Mitchie.
Good stuff. Great stuff. Yeah. So I love that, Pete. COYE. That's awesome. I love that. So
CYOE. Create your
CY,
own
yeah.
economy. CYOE. So if you
I'll
played basketball
select
like Chris Moe and I did and growing up, we were in CYO, right? Church Youth Organization, basketball.
that.
You
Right?
know, and then our dream of basketball superiority died in the 8th grade because neither of us like grew above 5'4". So CYOE, create your own economy. Write that down. Say that to yourself every day. You're in charge of your economy. Nobody else is. At the end of the day, be a better version of what you were that day. Win the day. You don't have to worry about yesterday. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. Just today. How do I become a better version of myself today, and who can I help in the meantime? That's it.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I coach agents every single day, and most of them will blame everything but themselves on their success or lack of success. And it's just a daily thing. So I want to talk about a couple different things. First of all, at least in the near future, I don't think AI or new tech is going to replace us. And I'll go into a few of those scenarios in a second. I think one of the reasons why I was so successful selling 80 homes a year as an agent before I started my team and my brokerage was because I didn't talk about real estate. Real estate was the last conversation we had. I talked about their families, kind of going with what Pete just said. I talked about their kids. I talked about everything to make them love me. Because, and there's a caveat to this, because if they love me, I got the first step. All right. Now, of course, I'm very lucky because I'm such a lovable guy and smile all the time, and people like to be around positive people. By the way, totally caveat. If you don't smile, you probably need to find a new business. Right? I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed recently. I just interviewed this guy that's talking about joining EXP. This is our conversation. So, so tell me about your business. It's okay. Didn't look at me the entire time. I book an hour. I was done with it in 20 minutes. The guy's not going to make it in the real estate world. And I told him that. I'm very honest with people. I always get personal. So I'll give you an example. Say I meet someone and I'm going out with them for the first time, or on a conversation. So why, I always talk about why you moved and stuff like that. But tell me about your family. And I love when they have children, or at the stage of my life, grandchildren, either one. I love when the children are involved with sports because I can connect with that. Being an athlete all my life, I can connect with that. And what's cool about it is, I'll give you an example. Say I'm talking to someone, we're out looking at houses. So when's Billy's next game? It's Tuesday. I am calling Wednesday morning to see how Billy did. Right? Nobody does that stuff. It's sort of like what Pete was talking about. Nobody does the extra mile in our business. Everybody wants to do the least amount of work to make the most amount of money. Now, using technology is so important. Open houses. You should not be doing open houses unless you have an iPad sign-in that goes directly into your CM. Us, we got Boltray and Lofty both do that. I don't know about Close. I don't know anything about that one. So you should definitely be doing that. Don't get people sign papers because you can't read their stuff. If you have me sign in, you will not read what I sign in. I should have been a doctor, but I wasn't. I couldn't go to college. I'm a huge believer in old school, and I'm going to give you an example. So say you get a lead and you set them up on listing updates, and you think you got this person. You talk to them once, you had a phenomenal conversation. I will guarantee you, no matter what you're sending them, that if I ran into them and I met them, you would lose that customer to me. Now, why would that be? Because every single person I meet goes like this: "Hey, how's your day going?" "Oh, it's going okay, going good, going great." If they say their life sucks, that's the end of the conversation. I don't deal with people that lives suck. I don't want to. I don't want to save the world anymore. I just want to save my family and the rest of my friends. And then they go, so they'll go, "How's your day?" And they'll say it's good or great. They'll always say, this is 100%, 95%. And then they'll say to me, "How's your day?" "Oh, I'm in the real estate business, kind of crazy." Right? So you're sending them listing updates. And I just met this person in line at the grocery store. Because my conversation at the bar, or the grocery store, or the coffee, everywhere I go. And then they're going to say, "How's your day?" I'm in the real estate business, kind of crazy. Three different lines are going to come out of that person, one of these three. Oh, you're in the real estate business? How's the market? Then I capture them as a lead. Right? Oh, that's pretty good. One of the things I do with my friends is I keep them updated on the local real estate market. Would you like me to send you an email? Would you like me to include you in that list? They always say yes. And then or they'll say, oh, you're in the real estate business. We're thinking about selling. Oh, let me come by and take a look at your house and see what it looks like, and give you some opinion before you get in the market and see if you have to fix anything, things like that. Or they say, oh, we're thinking about buying. Oh, I've worked with hundreds of buyers around here. I'm glad to sit down with you and kind of go over what you're looking for and show you the best to do it. I'm one of the top realtors in the area. The goal is to capture people. I've sold 36 homes at Publix. That doesn't go away with new technology. That doesn't go away with AI. Those one-on-one connections are what's going to make it important. I have a book I wrote a few years ago because everybody wanted me to write another book. It's a 3-page book, and I won't swear because we recorded, but normally I would swear and tell you the final page. So it's called "Don't Do Chicken Shit Marketing." The Rockstar Sales Guide. Don't do chicken shit marketing. It's a 3-page book that sold over 10,000 copies so far. The first page says don't text. The second page says don't email. The third page says pick up the effing phone. And that's our business. If you rely just on technology, you will not win. If you utilize technology to enhance your efficiency, that's where I think technology becomes a huge place. I was the first guy in the country doing forced registration on websites. Everybody would call me. Realtors would call me and yell at me because I used technology to grow my business. I was the first company in the country to do inside sales agents, right? To do lead conversion. And I want to talk about that a little bit within going into lead conversion because that's an important part. And then I'll be done. We'll open this up a little bit. If you're not going to call your leads and you're just going to rely on technology, you're going to get a 1% or less return. That's just the facts. But by the way, if you do almost nothing, you'll get a 1% return. If you're going to hire an ISA that is in, no offense to the Philippines, that's in the Philippines, right? It's not licensed. Your conversion will go to 2%, maybe 3%. If you're going to hire an ISA, hire a licensed. Does everybody know what ISA means, by the way? Inside sales agent. Hire a licensed inside sales agent for 2 reasons. One, you can pay them a smaller base and give them a commission. So when I set this up, we didn't have any money, so I set up $1,600 base, which now it'd probably be about $2,000 or $2,500 because it's different, and then I gave them 5% of equity, the 5% of the deals. But they also manage the entire process. If you're running a team, they'll manage your agents for you because their production is tied directly to their thing. So many people are doing all these out of area ISAs that aren't licensed. Here's the difference: a non-licensed ISA cannot talk about real estate. Right? They can only talk about whatever's on the screen, right? A licensed ISA, this is why I went licensed, this is why I only would hire licensed. And I owned an ISA company with 25 non-licensed ISA, so I know the difference in the numbers. But they can sit there, so someone says, well, I'm really curious about 555 Main Street. An ISA that's not licensed cannot talk about that. They can't talk about the schools, they can't talk about the neighborhoods, they can't talk about anything. A licensed ISA can sit there and talk about real estate all day long. And now you keep them on the phone, you're getting them more deep involved in the relationship. And that's really the difference. I don't see AI ISAs, which are getting pretty popular now, being able to do that.
I wanted to hop in there, Mitch.
Yeah,
Mitch, you make a really good point, you guys. And I'm not trying to take over this meeting today. I only had 2 cups of tea, so I'm a little fired up. I put in the chat a really good book for everybody to read based on relationships. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, this book, you guys, was written in 1936. So imagine our society in 1936. And to this day, this book is still the beacon of light on how to develop relationships and make a lot of money. So things change, but they also stay the same. You have to do the basics correct. I'm going to give all the remaining people on here, I know people come and go on these Zooms, I'm going to give you a multi-million-dollar tip right now that you can put into action every day that works more effectively than anything you could ever send out, anything you could ever do. Ready? I'll walk you through it right now. Every morning, open up your Facebook. Look down at the bottom, it says notifications. Facebook tells you whose birthday it is. Open up YouTube, type in happy birthday, Alicia. Right? I know it's not Alicia's birthday. I'm using this as a hypothetical example, but happy birthday, Alicia. And it's going to bring up a bunch of different videos designed for Alicia. Then just message that video to your client right from there. It takes 10 seconds. Like I already sent 5 today. No offense, Mitch. While Mitch was talking about ISAs, I sent 5 of them. And all those past clients of mine are friends of mine. I don't call them past clients. They're friends. They're all around the world. And they're going to get this that nobody else sent to them. Sometimes I do a quick video with it too. But they're going to get it. And I'm going to say, hey, check out this. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great day. It's a really funny video. And they watch it and they all call me and they say, that's the funniest video I've ever seen. Because nobody else is doing that, you guys. So now am I top of mind or am I bottom of mind? I'm top of mind. And people appreciate that because the most special day for them every year is their wife's birthday, right? Or their kid's birthday. But the second most special day, if they have any brains in their head, especially guys, is their birthday, right? But that's how it works. Like my daughter's birthday is June 23rd. Her birthday goes on for a month. I didn't know they go on for a month. Costs me a fortune every year. Goes on for a month. Who figures? My birthday goes on for an hour and a half. But that's the deal. And if you do that, just try it from this day forward. If you do it every day, go through your database and get everybody's birthday and then friend them on Facebook. And every morning, all you have to do is just look at Facebook. And then go to YouTube and type in happy birthday, Jeannie, right? It's going to send Jeannie a personal message. And Jeannie's going to say, wow, last night at midnight or this morning at 6 a.m., Pete was thinking of me when he started my day, and he was the first person to wish me a happy birthday. How cool is that? There's no better connection than that, you guys. There really isn't. You can send all the cookies, all the cards, all the wine, all the chocolates, all the flowers in the world. Those come and go. But when you send that video, and a lot of people send the video to other people. Dennis, did I send you that video for your birthday? And what did you think?
It's so funny. I just Googled it too.
It's hilarious, right? And it's kind of crazy. You have to know your audience, but that's a wow factor, you guys. Listen, you want one of the key tools to marketing is a wow factor. One of the key tools to branding is a lasting factor. So you have to look at that. I was out in Cardiff by the Sea this past weekend. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Meeting 2 of my friends who are clients. And they said, hey, let's meet at this outdoor bar. Now, I'm not drinking. I'm 39 days sober. So I said, sure. And I went there, and these 5 people sat down with us. And they said to me, you look familiar. And I said, yeah, I have a face for a radio, you know? And they all started laughing. And the one woman said, no, you look really familiar. I know you somehow. And I said, well, maybe you saw me around. I'm on one of the billboards. She goes, you're Pete Knows PB. And they all started going nuts. She goes, we were just talking about you an hour ago on the beach. Now, I don't go to the beach and put suntan lotion on people or anything, but that shows you the power of branding. You have to be top of mind. And then it manifests into opportunities in business. So what are you telling yourself all day long? What's your inner monologue? Am I winning or am I losing? Am I top of mind or am I bottom of mind? Am I taking action or am I sitting on my hands waiting for things to come to me and being passive? Am I reaching out to people and brightening their day? Or am I aggravated that nobody's selling with me? That's it. It's straightforward, but read that book. I got to go get another big listing. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend and good luck to everyone.
See you, Pete. So, yeah, and that's such a great thing. So I will tell you that I think Pete sent me one of those 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm pretty up on tech. And I was like, whoa, how the hell did you do that? That's really cool. And then I went online and put my name on it. I found like 50 Mitch videos of Happy Birthday, Mitch. So it's a great tool that nobody really gets it, and it's good. So I want to open this up. Actually, I want to pick on Billy for a second. Billy, unmute yourself, Bill. Unmute yourself. So Bill,
Hey, how's it going?
you guys are killing it, right? You guys do an amazing job there. Love watching you guys' success. How are you using technology in your business right now?
I mean, honestly, for me, it's just the personal connection that you guys have always talked about. For me, I'm really big. I know, Mitch, you've commented on some of my stuff in regards to videos. Like, I kind of do some out of the box stuff. Like, big thing here in Cincinnati is Cincinnati or Gold Star versus Skyline Chili. Well, I'll be honest, 90% of people here in Cincinnati, they like Skyline. I'm the 10% that likes Gold Star. So I use that where I get, people commenting on my Facebook post, and then the algorithm is then feeding them my post. And then, it's something goofy, something silly that I like Gold Star better than Skyline, whatever. It's chili. Who really cares? But then once I'm actually adding educational posts as well, because they're commenting on my stuff, the algorithm's feeding them my stuff, and then, hey, this goofy guy did this, and then that gets shared, and it grows from there.
Okay, that's great. Are you using technology to offer follow up and everything like that, or is it strictly yourself personally?
It's myself personally for the most part. No, I've been working with Gordon and Cam, which Cam hasn't spoke today. I don't know what's going on with Cam today, but I've been working.
He just got out of the dentist. He can't speak. I just talked to him.
Oh, of course.
He texted us.
Oh, sure. But yeah, I've been working with them. I've been working really hard in regards to Follow Up Boss this year, and just a couple things I'm looking to integrate in my business. I mean, I close roughly just doing what I just told you, just stuff that I just mentioned. I mean, 80 to 90% of my business is referrals. I've never spent a dime on leads, but I'm looking to scale myself from. I do about 60 deals a year. I'm looking to do 60. I'm hoping to hit 100, 120. That's what I'm looking to do for me and my team. So.
And one thing about social, and I think, Bill, you got it right. If you're out there, look at me, I'm this realtor. I honestly talked to a friend of mine. He's blocked almost every realtor on his page because he's so sick of realtors bragging about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where get out there and do local content. I mean, I think Kyle Whistle made his business by doing business reviews online on YouTube. Mm-hmm. He built his business like that. Chris, I have a question here. Chris Goodman, get here for a second. So Chris is a good friend of mine. He's a big mortgage broker. And I'm curious because you hear us every week. You're on this every week, and I love that because I know you learn stuff from the realtor side, what we're doing. What on the mortgage side are you guys doing that would fit into what we're talking about today that would help our realtors? I know.
Yeah, I mean, by the way. No, I appreciate that because our businesses are so aligned. That's why I'm here every week. Excuse me, because I learned so much and it's so synonymous. And I love the constant conversation around both. Like everything I'm hearing today is a blend of old school and new school. I like what Craig said. It's just school. It's not old school, new school. It's just school. But we are implementing a lot of technology at a really high level for what I like to refer to as the fundamentals, which is communication, right? We're using AI to help us level up our ability to communicate at a high level, but not to speak in place of us. I know there was a lot of conversations around, not using AI to literally just copy and paste what it says, because we need to make sure that it sounds like us and we're conveying certain messaging. We're using it to implement a lot of workflow and processes. But at the same time, there's certain activities and strategies that myself and our team are deploying on a weekly or monthly basis that I would define as almost like old school efforts, but maybe using technology. I'll give you one particular example. Every single Monday, I send out what I would refer to as a newsletter, but I'm not talking about an old school newsletter that has key lime pie recipes. It's one tip once a week that I send out to about 1,000 real estate agents. Probably 90% of them that I know by name, that we might not have seen each other or talked in a long time, but I've built an actual relationship with over my career. And it's one tip once a week to help you make more money. And I send this out every week, once a week on Mondays. So that's just like one example of what I would refer to as like old school effort, but just using technology to deploy that. Does that make sense? And of course, we're using a lot of technology again to help hone our workflows and systems behind the scenes. But communication is obviously a big one.
Yeah, that's cool. And what is interesting, what you'll find, every single one of us said basically the same thing in a lot of ways, where we use technology to make us more efficient, but we don't use technology to build that personal relationship because it's still AI. It's still not going to be you yet. Now, again, I'm a big believer in the next 24 months, we're going to see some major changes in the world with regards to AI. Okay, Chris.
I was just going to say, I like to say that the world is in a trust recession right now. So there's nothing, I think, more impactful than just you being your authentic self. And that is like a big differentiator because so many people are coming across either the look at me, buy from me, or it looks like it's AI generated, right? So just being authentic, which I love that part of this conversation, is literally a massive differentiator from the competition out there. So I just wanted to comment on that since you were talking about that.
When they add the AGI, that's probably going to be a big shift. AGI, just if you don't know, I know we talked a little bit about it. AGI is the next generation of AI. It's a thinking AI. It's honestly, it scares the shit out of me. I'm going to be honest with you, because it's going to think for itself. Right now, we still control it by it pulls from stuff, but once it starts thinking for itself, don't know. Now, again, you have two choices in the business world. I again like to think of myself as a visionary type of person. So when I see something come out, I'm like, all right, how can I utilize this? Like my, I think I gave all you guys a couple weeks ago. My chat role play tool is off the charts. It goes on market next week, and I probably have about a 3-month opportunity to market that and sell it before it's easier to do. Websites like Lovable.dev for $25 a month, you can build an incredible website. And so there's so much stuff you can do now. But I want you to really think in the lines as we finish this call up, that I don't want you to fear it. I want you to adapt to it and figure out what parts of AI fit into your life. Like I do a lot of video. I've been finding the original version of Hey Gen, which Craig was talking about, wasn't there, but the version now, pretty close. Still lacks in personality. I'm still struggling with that part of that because I like to use humor to, because I look like this. You have to be funny. That's kind of the rules. Anyways, anybody have any questions? We got 4 more minutes left before we go back on with our lives. Anybody have any questions about anything, struggles we can help you with? If not, we'll just call it a day and go eat bonbons, which is what we do all day. No? All right, we're good. Guys, we'll see you all next week. Have a great week.